Silverstone, not that he said too much, but he said, will Hex hit an all-time high? He said, I am still so down. So he's probably like many people that bought most tops from 2021, and you're not alone. Many of us have done that. Many people are still here from that time. Funding Jim Gary Woods bought Hex at over 40 cents. I mean, there's many people that have done that, but it's about time horizons, how long you're planning on being here, and all that stuff. But will Hex hit an all-time high? I mean, that's I don't know what your portfolio is like, or if you're just somebody who is in Hex, but you just have to ask yourself, like, what is, if you look at your life, like, what's the amount of money that you're looking to get out of this that would actually change your life? What are your living expenses, stuff like that? And I would focus more on that, on whether Hex will hit an all-time high or what price it would get to. You know what I mean? Because you got to remember, like, it isn't just Hex now. I mean, we have Pulse, Pulse X, both Hexes. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, no, I didn't mean to cut you off. All I was going to say is we know it's possible. It's been there before. Some of these things, like Pulse X, they were very maybe at the sacrifice rate for a second.
Yeah.
So we know it can hit that, but when people start talking about hundreds of X's after that, well, that's unknown territory. But we know Hex has been to 50 cents already. So we know it can. There was a lot less liquidity. There were a lot different situations, a lot less coins with the same number of people. And when you spread things out a little bit thinner, it gets harder to move things. So they become a little bit heavier. But we know it's possible. It's not like saying Hex to $2. Well, we don't know if that's possible because it hasn't done that yet, but it has done 50 cents. So, the all-time high, well, it's there. It's within reach, and we know it can. So, I don't discount it. I think Hex could get back to that. It's going to take some bullish sentiment across the board, though, and it's going to take people. The old saying is what makes price go up? Well, people buy more than they sell. And lately it's been a lot of sellers. You can look at the charts and just see that people are just dumping stuff left and right. The good thing about that, though, is it becomes lighter. It's got a lot less dead weight. Big sellers are out. Mm-hmm. They can't hurt the price later. So when it's like a bow and arrow, as it pulls back and gets tighter and tighter, the more it can spring forward. So, we release a lot of that extra baggage, and I think it can. I think it will. I just think we're going to need some clarity from SEC and things like that before we can get to that point. Now, hopefully, we'll find a little bit of something out here in October, but I don't expect it to be completely over. But I do expect something bullish to come out of that.
At least some sentiment based on the news. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So. Exactly.
Yeah. So. And I remember this actually, Silverstone. He said, I messaged you guys a few weeks ago. I put in 500K initially. I do remember this. I think it was a couple months ago, actually, I feel like. And he says, and my friend is telling me BTC is the answer, and I've been scammed. I still believe in our age and want your opinion on why he's wrong. I mean, look, we can't tell you what to do. And if you put in a lump sum that was uncomfortable for you, like in one clip, I mean, we don't need to turn this into like the Silverstone investment answer show necessarily, but like, I don't know how exactly you initially got in, and, maybe you can look in the mirror. I mean, maybe there were some mistakes in terms of like DCA, I don't know, but keep in mind, like your friend, I don't know him, you know him better than me. People are just describing the candles right now. Like everybody is doing that right now. Everybody is like, see, safe. I just told you guys at the beginning of the show, there's people in Bob Lucas's threads that are saying ETH is a long, slow rug and all this stuff. People are trading into the stuff that is surviving and doing better right now. They're chasing green candles. They're literally doing exactly the opposite of what you're supposed to do because they can't handle it emotionally and they don't have anything else going on. So they're selling red candles, getting into what's going on. Like right now, all on my feed right now, I'm seeing like Titan X stuff and everything, which whatever, I have kind of an opinion, but I'm not going to really share it. I don't care about it. I'm not going to get into that necessarily, but like I see Titan X stuff all the time on my timeline right now because the price has started to go up and whatever. If that floats your boat, that's fine. I'm not begrudging anybody, but what are you going to do? Like sell something that's down 80, 90% that you believe in and have been hardcore investing in to go in something else that the candles are now green? Like most of us have done that in the past, and it's you usually don't have a very good time. You know what
Nope.
I mean? Like
Usually does
speaking
not
from
work out well.
experience. Yeah.
Doesn't work out well. You know, and here's the other thing with that whole option. If you would have bought a $500,000 in Bitcoin, and I don't even know when you bought in, but 500,000 in Bitcoin at that point, where would you be? Still 500,000? Like when was it? Because it's not done a whole lot either. You know, and you're better odds of getting more X's are with coins like Hex and Pulse Chain and Pulse X and Incentive. And that's why we're here. You know, we want to multiply something that started a lot smaller. You know, I didn't have a $500,000 to invest initially. So, you know, I wasn't that lucky. I was, you know, on a lot smaller scale when I first got into Hex, and well, actually before that in 2017, with a bunch of other stuff that probably shouldn't have invested in either.
Right.
So,
yeah,
you know, a lot of people don't get the opportunity to do that. So, you know, it depends on what you're looking to get out of it too. I don't think you were scammed. Richard hasn't taken anybody's money. Richard's fighting for crypto's rights, you know, right now. And a lot of people are going to say that about him until he wins a court case, probably. Or maybe they'll still say it. Because they don't like him. You know, a lot of Bitcoiners, we'll, you know, I'll touch on this quickly. We've talked about it so many times. But Richard was originally Team Bitcoin. And when he jumped ship and said that Ethereum was better, people didn't like that. They didn't like him going against what they thought he was a part of. And then when he went out and created his own and started saying it's a better Bitcoin, well, they really didn't like that. So that's why you hear all these people say that Richard's a scammer and things like that. But, you know, again, there's no proof of it. He hasn't taken anybody's money. He's fighting with a bunch of lawyers. He could have disappeared into the shadows, never to be heard from again. So, you know, again, I feel like those type of people are going to be the ones that you'll eventually look back one day and say, see, I was right. And and you can tell them that you made the right decision, but you've got to have faith in it, and you got to hang in there.
And if you don't have faith in it, I mean, that's something that we can't necessarily help you with. Like, I mean, if you don't believe in your investments, then people can't necessarily force you to. But that's what I think that question mainly smacks of, is like just having doubt from the beginning anyway. You know what I mean? If you're doubting it, like, sure, there are times where I feel nervous when I make a buy because I think I'm catching a falling knife, and I want to be able to buy as low as I can. It's never like, is this really what I should be buying? It's never that. It's just like, I want to get the best price I can, you know? So I definitely understand that feeling. But what I will recommend to you, Alicia Silverstone, is if you are Alicia, I don't know whatever happened to her. I want to recommend to you that you go watch our friend Frank Molina's channel. I think he would really help out your mindset a little bit. He does fantastic mindset videos all the time and talks greatly about the money supply, a lot of Michael Saylor's thoughts and things like that, why crypto overall is just the thing to be in, and specifically why he likes Richard Hart's products. And he's actually like obsessed with Pulse X. That's mainly what he's invested in, but we've had him on a number of times, 2 or 3 times. He has his own channel called the DeFi Capital Show, or DeFi Capital channel, I think. Frank Molina, I can't recommend him enough. I think that you do a couple rounds with his videos and you'll be feeling pretty good, honestly. So, yeah.
Just to touch on this real quick, though, and I don't believe switching now at the bottom of the market is the time to do so. But again, it's your money. You can do what you want. I just think you would lose a lot of capital. If you're going to switch into Bitcoin, at the top would be the time to do that, only because it's, you know, obviously a lot, I don't say less volatile, but it doesn't drop as much, only because it's several years into the cycles.
And we just showed that chart earlier of Pulse versus ETH, and it's basically been flatlined and starting to move up for 4 months. A chart like that you sell and then buy the other end of it, to an even worse extent, which would be Bitcoin, is traditionally exponentially a horrible move. I mean, if anything, I would be wanting to back up the dumpster, the dump truck, and basically mortgaging my home. No, I'm not Michael Saylor. I don't want to say that, but I would want to be doing everything I possibly can to scoop every part of that up, and that's exactly what I have been doing. I mean, that's a chart that you want to buy, not literally the opposite of sell is what you want to do with that chart. I mean, that for me anyway, and obviously, you understand. You're a big boy. You said not financial advice. It's up to you. But I understand. Confidence gets shaken. Totally understand that. But I would check out Frank Molina's channel for sure. So